This presentation will discuss recreational water safety as a public health priority in Australia. The butterfly model of health will be used to explore the biophysical and socio-economic determinants of recreational water safety. Although recreational use of water imposes benefits on individual physical and mental health, there are also associated risks such as exposure to pollution, drowning, and injury. This presentation will focus specifically on the risk of drowning in relation to fresh and coastal waters and pools.
What is drowning? According to the World Health Organization, drowning can generally be defined as death by suffocation due to immersion in water. Drowning incidents can also be non-fatal, potentially resulting in serious injury such as brain injury, paralysis, respiratory conditions, and nervous system trauma. Worldwide, drowning has been identified as the third leading cause of unintentional death, with 360,000 deaths caused by drowning each year.
Prevalence of drowning and water injury in Australia. In Australia, drowning and near-drowning occurrences are common, making it a public health priority. Figure 1 compares fatal and non-fatal drowning incidents over a 10-year period. The graph shows that the number of incidents has not significantly varied over the past decade. From 2014 to 2018, the number of fatal drownings has remained between 249 and 288 deaths per year. Overall, the number of non-fatal incidents has been declining since 2014. Although there is a decline in fatal and non-fatal drownings over the 10-year period, these incidents are still prevalent in Australia. The 2018 Surf Lifesaving Australia report stated that 10,249 rescues were conducted nationwide at beaches alone by surf lifesaving volunteers.
Who is most affected? Research has indicated that specific members of the Australian population are more likely to drown, resulting in death or injury, compared to other members of the population. Figure 2 displays drowning deaths by age group in Australia in the period of 2017 and 2018. The highest reported deaths by drowning were across the ages of 25 to 64 years. The lowest number of drowning deaths in 2017-2018 occurred amongst the age groups of 5 to 9 years. Further inequities are evident regarding gender, with males having higher rates of drowning deaths compared to females across all states in Australia, as shown in Figure 3. In 2017-2018, the states with the highest mortality rates were New South Wales and Queensland.
To explore the determinants of recreational water use, the butterfly model of health will be used as a structure. The butterfly model of health is a socio-ecological model of health that incorporates biophysical and socio-economic environmental factors. This model considers holistic and salutogenic approaches. First, the determinants in the biophysical environment will be discussed.
Water quality is known to impact human health. Chemicals such as chlorine, alkaline, and calcium are present in pool water and without proper maintenance can impose negative health effects. For example, exposure to high quantities of chlorine can result in some cancers, reproductive complications, problems with the immune system, and heart attacks. This is caused by free radicals produced in the body upon exposure to chlorine, which triggers cell damage and are highly carcinogenic. Other water contaminants, such as dead and alive organisms and debris, can also affect water quality through the increase and spread of germs. Regarding water quantity, the greater the depth of a body of water results in an increased risk of drowning. Furthermore, having access to open bodies of water also increases the risks of drowning.
Climate is a determinant as it is known that recreational water use increases in warmer seasons, in particular summer. Geographical location further influences the number of recreational water users. As seen in the image, in 2016 and 2017, the highest rates of drowning incidents occurred on the biggest coastlines of Australia. The socio-economic environment explores different human structural elements and functional features which influence human health. According to social cognitive theory, observational learning, reinforcements, and expectations influence an individual's likelihood to carry out behaviours, such as swimming or safe behaviours within water. In particular, parental figures and peers have the greatest influence on an individual's behaviours. For example, if a child witnesses a parent swimming regularly and is also encouraged to do so, that child is more likely to practice swimming. Also, education on recreational water safety at a young age is a protective factor that can decrease the risk of drowning by 80%.
Recreational water use creates jobs for many Australians, including lifeguards, pool cleaners, and pool staff. These jobs contribute to the recreational water safety by decreasing the risk of death and injury in Australia. The Surf Lifesaving Organisation is a voluntary organisation that patrols Australian beaches, with lifesavers performing up to 30 rescues each day. Without surf lifesaving, there would be a greater risk of death and injury in relation to drowning on Australian beaches.
Laws and policies are put in place by state and federal government to ensure recreational water safety. It is required by law that all pools are enclosed by fencing that meets the government's pool fence standards. The government has put these laws in place as a protective factor to prevent drowning, death, and injury, particularly in backyard pools. Another protective factor put in place is the requirement for CPR signage to be displayed on pool fencing to ensure basic life-saving knowledge in case an incident occurs. In 2017 and 2018, fatal and non-fatal drowning incidents cost Australia $1.47 billion. These costs included the healthcare system and emergency services. Preventable drowning poses a burden on the healthcare system, with 6,158 cases of non-fatal drownings resulting in hospitalisations from 2002 to 2015. In 2003 and 2004, Australian lifeguards were responsible for administering 10,262 first aid treatments, minimising the number of hospitalisations and ultimately decreasing the burden on the health system. Without the healthcare system, rates of mortality would increase significantly.
Social justice is the equitable distribution of benefits and burdens among populations. Research has demonstrated that the determinants of recreational water safety present social injustices regarding drowning. The population that is most affected are males aged 25 to 64 years. This social injustice occurs as males at this age are more exposed to risk and are known to more frequently engage in water recreation under the influence of drugs and alcohol. Furthermore, data showed that people located on the coastline of Australia have higher rates of drowning incidents compared to inland regions. This could be attributed to dangerous rip currents that pull swimmers at beaches out to sea. As well as this, lack of education is a social injustice, as people may be unaware of safe practices and protective factors in place which minimise the likelihood of drowning and near-drowning incidents. This presentation has discussed the determinants of recreational water safety using a socio-ecological, holistic, social justice and salutogenic approach.